Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Cardinals on SI Podcast. And the 2025 schedule is officially here, and we cannot be more excited to break everything down. Weeks 1 through 17, you will find it here, and a little bit of preseason action too. Before we get into the nitty gritty, follow me on Twitter at Donnie and Drew. Much appreciated, greatly appreciated. And it feels like a second Christmas for us NFL fans and those who cover the sport arrived today, Wednesday, May 14th. With the arrival of the schedule. And there was a lot of teasing from the Cardinals themselves leading into this, just in terms of the hype video. It's real Donnie hours. It really is, man. It really is, especially I haven't been going to bed super early, so definitely got to fix that. But the Cardinals really teased like this big video schedule release that they were doing. Even Ian Rappaport appearing on the Pat McAfee show was like, look, like I've been told the Cardinals have a pretty exciting video release, and it ended up being a Mac Wilson 18-bar rap with music video accompanied by it. Just going through the schedule, kind of not dissing teams, but listing them off one by one. The music video actually is pretty well done. I thought Mac's raps, they were pretty solid. Obviously, better ball player than rapper, like so many people are. Dan knows ball. I think this is kind of the common opinion shared by a whole lot of people is that it was all right. The schedule release video was like, it wasn't bad. I think my only qualm with it was that you had so many people hyping it up. You had multiple insiders. You had big faces around the NFL saying, the Cardinals were going to have the best schedule release video, and I just didn't think that was true. Chargers again hit it out of the park. The Atlanta Falcons had a pretty good one too. So I mean, they were definitely more disappointing ones than what the Cardinals had done. Not bad, not great, kind of just somewhere in the middle. Falcons Sea Chickens was pretty funny. The Falcons one was good. I did see the Seahawks. I did see that one. The 49ers wasn't super bad either. But you know what? We're not here to talk 49ers, Seahawks, whatever it might be. We're here to talk Arizona Cardinals and
sorry to disappoint you all.
we got life. Let's go. We got life.
It's Donnie, real Donnie hours. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I know who you are. I know who you are. You can't hide. Cardinals in 96.
Richie Bradshaw, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Richie, and I was just kind of rambling on about the whole like Cardinal schedule reveal. Did you catch it by chance?
I have not been able to get around to it. That was what I've been trying to test my hearing to see if it would finally work for me, was for that bad boy to be going on in the background.
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of have the same opinion, and I already touched on this, so I don't want to harp on it, but not great, not bad, kind of somewhere in the middle. It just sucked because a lot of people around the NFL were hyping this up to be something incredible, something phenomenal, like the best schedule release in the league, and I just didn't feel it was that. It was in case you didn't know, in case you didn't catch it, Mac Wilson, Cardinals linebacker, rapped basically every team on the schedule and made it into like a pretty catchy song. The music video I feel like was well done, had some cameos from a couple Cardinals people. The rap itself wasn't awful. And then Dan, maybe I'm old man, but I can't read the team schedule graphic. Yeah, I thought they would have put out like some sort of like wallpaper, or I don't know. It's all dark and stuff. I felt like one of the people, Richie, where like you go into the restaurant and you have to like turn the phone light on and like read the menu.
You know, I thought you were going to talk about. I thought you were going to say get the little code.
Oh, the QR code.
What it was called? The QR code.
Yeah,
I was going to say like that. That's my boomer coming out.
No, that is. Give me a menu. Give me a menu. What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Are we talking football?
We are. We are talking football. We're going to get to that right now. There's the Cardinals schedule 2025 fully released. Richie, let's kind of just go through one by one. We'll get into all of the.
Are those
great
prime time games?
There's 2 primetime games,
what?
possibly more. Possibly more coming soon. All right, so week 1, you open up at the New Orleans Saints.
Cardinals only 3.5.
Spencer Rattler, Tyler Show, whoever it is. You know what, man? It's true.
Why are you talking about them? This is SI.
I'm going to
Just
give.
because I love PHNX doesn't mean you get to just drop them in my podcast.
It feels like the Cardinals should win that game on the road at
Yeah,
New Orleans. It just feels like the Cardinals, and it feels really weird to say, are head and shoulders above the New Orleans Saints right now at this point in time.
brother, that is one of the worst situations in the league is New Orleans. And isn't it funny how every year the salary cap's not real? Look at what the Saints are doing. Blah blah blah. Turns out eventually that can you're kicking down the road is going to catch up with you. And now look at the
No, it
Saints.
did.
They are arguably the worst team in football, and they're going to be for a little bit. So, yeah, it's interesting for sure because, 10 years ago, the Saints are contenders for a Super Bowl on an annual basis. And now they're one of the laughing stocks in the league, which historically that's normally where they're at.
Yeah.
But I mean, Donnie, for us growing up, I mean, Drew Brees got there in 2006, something like that. And
Yeah.
pretty much the
Get the
entire
clicks.
time that he was there, the Saints were a really good football team. And that's me and you were in elementary school back then. So we've known the Saints as a perennial contender. Now they are back to where our fathers were used to seeing them as a bottom tier team. So I'm with you that it is funny to say that the Arizona Cardinals are head and shoulders above the Saints because that's just not
Just
something
any
we
team.
were saying 10 years ago.
Just any team. And I think you can make an argument. New Orleans is one of the favorites to secure top 3 pick heading into next year's draft, given, all
Garrett
things considered.
Nussmeier, get those jerseys ready. Keep him in the Bayou. It's going to look good.
Yep, on the road, Bayou week 1, come back home to the friendly confines of State Farm Stadium for a home opener against the Carolina Panthers. Again,
Dub.
should be winnable. You could easily start out 2-0, which I think would be very, very good, obviously. And then you kind of get into an interesting stretch. So you're on the road at San Francisco week 3, and then a very short turnaround week 4, coming back from a road trip to San Fran or Santa Clara, wherever those guys play out. Hosting the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Haven't played a Thursday night game since 2022. And they're actually 0-3 against the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football itself, which kind of gives some people a lot of pause. I don't think that will factor too much into it, but I don't love back-to-back division games being played in the second half of it, Richie, coming on a short week of rest.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, man, because the Seahawks, we talked earlier this week that the Seahawks could be the favorite to be the last place team in the division this year. But I think that speaks more to how good the NFC West is, like secretly good, because that's not a bad roster. Like the
Yeah.
Seahawks are going to win more than 5 or 6 games this year, pending just the worst play possible from like Sam Darnold or their defensive regression. But that doesn't mean when they take on the Cardinals that the Cardinals are going to whoop them or anything like that. And that is a really interesting nugget that Arizona is 0-3 against Seattle on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
So, and then right before that, you go to San Francisco. And anyone who is thinking San Francisco is going to stack another bad season, I got really bad news for you, man. It's not Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't have consecutive bad seasons besides when he was first building up the team. Because otherwise, that's a really good football team that was ravaged with injuries last year. They dominated the draft. They're going to be really good. So you're taking on 2 division foes in the first month of the season. Neither of them are gimmies. It'll be interesting. I'm not saying you lose both, but I'm certainly not saying you win both. As of now, as of May, what's today, 17th?
14th.
14th? As of May 14th, I think you've got some toss-ups very early on in the season. I do think you start 2-0, but then you could be 2-2. Or you could be 4-0.
That's what I'm saying. Like 3-1, 4-0, 2-2. I see it all possible. And that's not just like a it's the offseason and you really don't know. That's more so like, hey, like the Cardinals are a good football team, but 49ers can again be a good football team. The Seahawks can again be a good football team. And the adage of throw the records out the window whenever division rivals play is not like
Yep.
annoying, but it's used a
But
lot.
it's true.
But
But
rightfully
it's
so, right?
true. Right.
Because like we're now in the second year of Mike McDonald in Seattle. Like the Cardinals and Seahawks are going to know each other a little better. And let's not like forget the Seahawks swept Arizona last year.
Which is weird to think because it feels like it should have been the other way around.
Hey,
But
you know
I
what? If
mean,
if if they want to change that, go get Colt McCoy.
either that or find a way to convince Kyler that Kobe Bryant is not on your team.
Yeah.
Brother, I was screaming at my TV. I was so pissed. Oh my
Moving
goodness.
on. Week 5, home again versus the Tennessee Titans, and then week 6 at the Indianapolis Colts. And nice little AFC South action going on. Sunday, October 19th, Green Bay Packers, and then you have the bye week at week 8. Drew Stanton. Drew Stanton was the other quarterback I was thinking to
There
pick
you
the
go.
Seahawks there.
Donnie, I'm going to cut you off real quick. This is such a favorable start to the season. I see 4 games that you borderline have to win. I'll tell you right now 4 games that you should be favorited in. And then 1 game that should be a toss-up at home, an interesting road game, and then you're hosting a Packers team that is looking to play better than the way they ended last season. But Saints, Panthers, Titans, Colts, that's 4 wins. And again, four teams that you should be favored against.
I
So
mean, if you go into the
I'm
bye
taking
week
that.
4-3, do you hate it?
No, not at all. I mean, you're
No.
bummed out that your wins are against teams that are projected to be picking in the top 10 next year, but wins are wins. You take wins where you can get them. And last I checked, 4-3 is above 500 going into your bye week.
It is. It is a little bit earlier of a bye week compared to previous years. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the second half of the schedule really gets interesting. At Dallas right away on Monday Night Football, and then you're back at Seattle, and then followed by another game at the 49ers. So like 2 of 3 games following your exit out of the bye
Dude,
versus NFC West opponents.
they really stacked the Seahawks Niners twice against you. That's diabolical.
That's brutal.
That
That's
is
brutal.
because there's a chance you're 0-4 after those games. There's also a chance that you're able to split everything, which to me is probably the realistic ideal scenario. But my goodness, Donnie, you are getting 4 of your 6 divisional games out of the way before December. Before Thanksgiving. You're going to
Well,
have 2/3 of your division games done, and the only ones that you will have left are your home and away set with the Rams.
yeah, December is kind of a tough time for sure. So after Cowboys,
I want
Seahawks,
to add something.
49ers, go ahead.
Those 4 games before Thanksgiving, you could know what place you're finishing in the division.
Yeah.
You could know exactly where you are finishing in the division before you get to Thanksgiving. That's 4 games. That's pretty crazy. You won't know for sure. There is a chance where you will know where you're finishing. If you're 0-4, you're dead last. If you're 4-0, you're in cruise control. If you're 2-2, I guess we'll find out. Like, it's a really, really interesting situation. CBK, what's going on? I absolutely agree.
Yeah, do not like how they distributed the division games.
No,
Don't love starting on the road and then having 2 consecutive road games to end the year. Not a big fan of that.
that's
So
horrible. That
after
should not happen.
That's the first time
Starting
since
and ending.
1999 that's happened, actually. Did a little research earlier today and
In
prep for the
general
schedule
or just
coming
for the
out.
Cardinals?
Just for the Cardinals, excuse me.
I was gonna say, still that end of the season absolutely bothers me, but we'll get there.
So after that brutal stretch to come out of the bye week, you got Jacksonville at Tampa Bay, home against the Rams, or we'll just leave it at Tampa Bay because to break down a pretty tough December. Jacksonville and Tampa Bay, you could go 2-0. I think you might split 1-1 just because with Tampa Bay playing at home.
I
If
don't think
they
you
should
win
be
both.
anything close, yeah, I mean they can absolutely. I don't want to count them out. There's Richie. I'm looking at the schedule right now. There's really no games where it's just going to feel so lopsided. Where it's like, yeah, the Cardinals should easily lose this game. I really don't see a game on the schedule like that. You can make cases for teams like the Bengals and the Packers, but even then, man,
I think I agree with you with a super overreaction because this is the first time that I'm like really looking into it. Super overreaction at Tampa Bay is one of your three most difficult games.
I would agree.
It'd be
I would agree.
that um probably at Cincinnati
That'll be tough.
and then at the Rams. But I mean, dude, you go to Houston.
That's not
You
going to be easy.
visit all three of your NFC West rivals. You're visiting
Well,
Cincinnati.
they were at
Yeah.
Houston last year, and like they held up pretty good.
Right. Well, and great news that offensive line just got 100 times worse, and your pass rush just got 100 times better.
Yeah. Was it
That's all
last
I'm
year or the year
saying.
before? I can't remember whenever they were in Texas. But regardless, and then you get into
Regardless.
that gauntlet of December where it's you're home against the Rams, you're at Houston, you're back home against the Falcons, and then TBD on the Bengals game for Week 17 that could be flexed to Sunday or Saturday. Think back to last year, whenever the Cardinals Rams games in LA got flexed to Saturday night. That could happen again with Cincinnati. It just depends on the circumstances, how both teams are, and if there's anything to play for either or. And then same thing with the Rams. The Week 18 flex scheduling has been a thing for the NFL the last couple of years, and I think that's been really smart for them to not have to commit to a certain slate of games and to ensure that like the last game of the slate, whether it's on like Sunday afternoon or like Sunday Night Football, whatever it may be, is basically for a playoff spot. I think that's boded really well for the league in the last few years.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just so hyper focused on the last two games of the year. Like I just can't get past that. That's brutal. Not only are you ending back-to-back road games, right? It's two teams that are going to be contending for the playoffs. And one of those teams is going to be contending for the division.
And one of those teams is directly in your division and will probably have a straight up impact on if you're going to be at home with us watching the playoffs or if you're going to be competing in the postseason, which
Right.
you and I have talked on this pod a handful of times, how 2025 is kind of that year for the Cardinals to go from, hey,
Mhm.
like they could to, hey, man, like you should. You should.
Dan, which
Dan,
game are we
who
looking forward to the most?
Dan knows ball, man. Dan does know ball.
Dan does know ball.
I think
Dan knows
personally,
ball from Sleeper.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Shout Sleeper Cardinals.
Sleeper Cardinals. Game I'm looking
Personally,
forward to the most.
I try to hit one road game a year. I would really like to make that Dallas Monday night game.
Donnie, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go at San Diego at San Francisco week 3 because I think that's gonna be a really good litmus test to see
I
where
will.
you are at right out of the gate. You're talking within the first month of the season against a team that's definitely going to be better than they were last year and rebounding from where they were last year. That's a really good test really early on in the season. That's my early answer right now for Dan knows ball asking which game I'm looking forward to first right now. Looking forward to first right now. I don't know. I think I'm having a stroke.
It's late, man. It's way past our bedtime. Not really.
I am tired.
CBK says offense should be ready to go week one. Will be interesting to see if the defense takes time to build chemistry or if they come out swinging. And that's actually a really good point because you would hope the continuity of the offense from last year to this year does carry over. Same offensive coordinator, same personnel. Like it's time for that to get rolling, and then the defense you hope can just live up to the billing that we have on this podcast and so many other people have kind of built them up to be. So completely agree with that. A lot of people have pointed to the similarities between here and 2021, where it's the Packers at home and then heading into a bye week. So I'm really curious to see if they can cure any of those demons that they may or may not have from years past.
I don't know why I thought Green Bay was a road game. This whole time, I thought it was a road game.
They played at Green Bay last year.
Okay, maybe that's why. I don't know. I thought that was a road game for some reason. Dude, that'll be fun. Yeah, I love the screw you, AJ Green little shout out that's in there. Yeah. And that'll be a good game too, that Cardinals end points out for being a game to look forward to the most because the Packers were a playoff team last year and they were third place in an NFC North that had two 14-win teams.
Yep.
And yet Green Bay was not a slouch. And Jordan Love is back. Josh Jacobs is back. That offensive line is intact. Their running back, their receiving core, plus Matthew Golden. That defense, I think, got better. That's going to be another really good test. And the thing that I will add to why you should look forward to it is it's going into your bye week. Are you going to go in hot or are you going to go in on a loss? Because there is a chance that you go into the bye week with a losing record. I see 4 wins here. That doesn't mean they're going to get 4 wins. Like, you could drop that game against Carolina, who has had the Cardinals number over the last several years. I feel like the games against Carolina are supposed to be guaranteed wins, and they end up being slugfests. Indianapolis, who knows what they're going to be?
Yeah.
So I see 4 wins of your first 7. You should be 4-3, but you're not guaranteed to be 4-3. And if you go into that bye week with a losing record, we're going to have a lot of questions that need to be answered. So that is a good game to look out for, not just because it's going to be a good rematch game, good revenge game against Green Bay, but that's another measuring stick game for you.
I do have a few notes on the schedule. So they're starting on the road. Arizona's opened their season just once at home in the last 6 years, and one instance coming in 2022 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Cardinals
That
have
shouldn't
concluded their
happen.
season. What's up?
I said that shouldn't happen.
Yep, completely agree. The Cardinals concluded their season
That's
at
a
home
problem.
in the last 3 of 4 years before 2025, and they're going to finish with consecutive road games. This is also the first time since 2020 where the Cardinals will start and finish the season as the away team. Then, as I alluded to earlier, the first time since 1999 where Arizona will start off on the road and then finish with 2 consecutive road games.
Shouldn't happen.
This stat is interesting. So for the upcoming year, Arizona is tied actually for the 5th easiest schedule in terms of opposing win percentage. Doesn't feel like it, man.
Well, that's the thing, Donnie. I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of games the Cardinals should be favored in. But they stacked the schedule against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Donnie, let's look through. And we're going to go game by game. All I want you to do is tell me, should the Cardinals be favored? So yes or no. Ready?
Okay.
At the Saints.
Yes.
Home versus Carolina.
Yes.
At San Francisco.
No.
Okay. Versus Seattle.
Coin flip. I'll go yes.
Okay. Versus Tennessee.
Yes.
At the Colts.
Yes.
Versus Green Bay.
No.
At Dallas.
No.
At Seattle.
No.
Versus San Francisco.
Coin flip for me. I'll go no.
Okay. Versus Jacksonville.
Yes.
Okay. At Tampa.
No.
Versus the Rams.
I'll go at home. Yeah.
Okay. At Houston.
Should it be favored? No.
That's just the question. Favored or not favored. So,
No.
versus Atlanta.
Yes.
At Cincinnati.
Nope.
At the Rams.
No.
Congratulations, 8-9. But I will tell you, of the games we went through, I would favor Arizona over Dallas.
I easily could see that. Easily.
I
And
would tell
that's the
you, when you were
problem, is
given
that
the coin
there's
flip,
not,
I would say that's a coin flip.
and there's so many of these coin flip games on the schedule. And so I read that stat where it's like, hey, the Cardinals are tied for 5th. And
Hold on, you're getting flamed in the comments, just so you
no,
know.
I am. I'm very well aware. He's 9-0 at A&T Stadium, Jerry's World.
Carlton's gonna get your ass too. Oh yeah, I forgot. Minnie's a Cowboys fan. Fun fact. So, I actually forgot all about that.
How could
I'm
you?
gonna get in trouble.
You really are. You really are.
But
that's the thing, Richie. Like I read the stat where it's the Cardinals are tied for the 5th easiest win percentage moving into 2025, and I'm like, okay, like there should be like confidently like 10 wins on the schedule, and it's not there. It's not confidently 10-win games. But what I will tell you is that there's numerous coin flip games to where the Cardinals could either end up with 7 wins or maybe 11 or 12. It's just that's the nature of the beast. And that's something we found out about the Cardinals last year, Richie, is that, in close games in the first half of the schedule, they were able to pull it off. In the second half of the schedule, they just simply collapsed whenever the fire got a little bit too hot. What Cardinals team are we going to see?
Yep. So let's do the same thing. How many coin flip games are in here? I want you to look for yourself. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say all 6 of your NFC West games as of May 14th feel like toss-ups right now, with maybe the road games not as much.
I counted 9.
Are you getting those 6 or no?
Yep. All 6 division games.
All 6 division games. I'm saying Dallas. I'm saying Tampa. I'm saying the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe the Packers. Maybe.
As of right now, I wouldn't. So yeah, I'm right there with you. 9 toss-up games, 9 not a push, just home field advantage. Like, take the home team. Here's a 2.5-point spread.
That doesn't exist for the Cardinals, though. At least not right now.
No. Well, it's gonna when my boy. This isn't a good start. Chad Ryland, when my boy Chad Ryland is drilling game-winning field goals for Arizona.
Chad's a good field goal kicker, man. There's no shame in highlighting him.
Donnie, he's one of my 3 favorite players from last year. I said Chad Ryland, Garrett Williams, Dante Stills. Those are my dudes.
Jordan Love is currently the Packers quarterback, and I'm not one of those people who hates on Jordan Love. So,
I'm a Jordan Love guy.
So I will tell you, they don't have Christian Watson for the first half of the year, but I feel like by week 7, Green Bay might have especially a guy like Matt LaFleur, might have a good idea of how to finagle life without Christian Watson. It also helps you took a receiver.
Because they're going to have their actual number 1 receiver on the field with Matthew Golden.
Ooh.
Austin Frizzoko's not a fan. Austin, normally I love you, but you are going to be very happily wrong when Matthew Golden is an all-pro at the end of the season. As a return man, but an all-pro is an all-pro.
So 2 primetime games for the Cardinals. Week 4, Thursday Night Football against Seattle. Week 9, Monday Night Football at the Dallas Cowboys. And then the 2 last games, like we alluded to a little bit earlier, week 17 at Cincinnati, week 18 at Los Angeles. I thought this was something that popped up on the schedule last year, Richie, and I think this is true again for 2025. In terms of weather, in terms of avoiding like really bad weather games, I'm looking at the schedule right now, and I really only see Cincinnati in week 17 as like that could be bad for them.
How many of these games are outdoors, Donnie? Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Seattle. That's it. Every other game is in a dome. San Francisco,
but that's
San Francisco's outside. So, yeah. Right. So that's it. Every other game is controlled environment for you.
You taking
Dan, that
the
is a
over or
perfect
under?
line. I
I feel
mean,
that's
I'm
right where
taking
it
the
should be.
over because I do think that this team's going to the playoffs, but that is a perfect line. If you know the Cardinals, it's a perfect line. If you are a 49ers fan, you may look at that and go, "Oh my God, I'm throwing $200 down on the under. The Cardinals stink, blah, blah, blah." But like if you're in touch with this team, you look at that and you go, "That's a tough line." I take the over because I do think this is a team that's going to the playoffs this year.
I would agree. That's at least the expectation too. And we,
I
we
think it
talked so
should
much
be,
about
right?
like coin. No, 100%, 100%. And
Absolutely.
but what'll get the Cardinals to the playoffs, Richie, is them turning those 50-50 games into 55-45, 60-40 games in their favor. We saw a little bit last year of the Cardinals were able to pull the close games out, and then, like we said, after a bye week, something just changed with them. Great teams know how to close games out, and you can make an argument that the Cardinals were just a couple plays away from being a playoff team, and they were also on the other side of the coin a couple plays away from being a 6-7 win team. It just
Right.
happens like that, but like third year under Jonathan Gannon, they know exactly what to expect in that locker room. Another year with a healthy Kyler Murray. You have an
Yep.
improved defense. You can still run the ball pretty much anytime you want. Like that's going to be the story of 2025. Can you win close games? You got the run game for it. You got the defense for it. Can you pull it out? Can you make the plays when they are necessary?
So I want to add on to what you said about winning the close games. It's the classic saying, Donnie. Good teams win, great teams win ugly.
I thought you said great
Or
teams cover.
I was going to say, if you're a degenerate, great teams
Yeah.
cover. But no, great teams win ugly. And this Cardinals team, I, Donnie, I think that they've got a chance to win the tough, gritty games. You've got the
I would agree.
kicker to be able to win those games. First of all, you need that, or you you don't have nearly as good a chance to win close games. You don't have a good kicker, but you've got a power run game. You've got a defense that overachieved last year and just got significantly better. You've got consistency from the coaching staff. You've got one of the best young defensive coordinators in the entire league. And Drew Petzing, we're not fans of him, but maybe another year working with this group and just figuring out the kinks of what works, what doesn't work, and who knows, Donnie? There's nothing saying that Drew Petzing can't get it figured out. He's getting head coaching interviews. There's clearly something that the league sees in him that
Mhm.
that could end up clicking. So this Cardinals team does have a chance to start turning those close losses into close wins. And that's hard to do on a year to year basis. I mean, look at Minnesota the last handful of years. It feels like they alternate back and forth between winning close games and losing close games. They can't keep getting away with it, as a famous Logan Bell once said. So it'll be it'll be a really interesting season for the Cardinals because there are a lot of games in here are coin flips. We said there's 9 coin flips, and those coin flips could be a last second field goal in a game winning drive or having the defense hold on tight to a close lead.
What do you think is the toughest stretch of the schedule? I'm just looking at it right now. What's like the worst 3-game
It's
stretch, do you feel?
it's 3 game. If you gave me 4 game, it would be
Or
the
4? Or 4.
so it's the last 4 games then. At Houston, host Falcons, at Cincinnati, at Rams. I don't think it's debatable, Mr. Druin. I really don't.
I would even argue the last 6 games, man, like at Tampa Bay and then at home against the Rams, like that's
You
a
have
very tall order.
two home games against 4 road games. Of those 4 road games, 3 of them made the playoffs last year, and the 4th one had a winning record. That's disgusting.
I
They
will say
could
to this point.
not. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like the when you consider the win record for the percentage for the Cardinals should be one of the best, they could not have stacked the schedule any more difficult.
I would agree. I would 100% agree. CVK says a lot of non-local guys love Petzing scheme. Just local media that is low on him, really. I think Drew's ability to scheme the running game is phenomenal, top tier.
I need the Cardinals to be top 8 in rushing yards this year.
It's
That's my
for me.
non-negotiable. I need Kyler to start running. I need James Conner to get 1,000, and I need Trey Benson to turn into their. I need him to be the Gus Edwards of this backfield. Like, yeah, he's the backup running back, but I just got 700 yards out of him. That's what I need from Trey Benson. Get me a top 8 rushing offense. This team is a playoff lock.
It's not necessarily the scheme for me whenever it comes to Petzing. It's just the utilization or misutilization of
Of Marvin
his
Harrison Jr.
passing game, specifically of his passing game, and situational play calling. Because I can
Yeah,
remember and recall a lot of
the
third and fourth
Rams,
downs where I'm just like,
the
Drew,
Rams
what
game.
are we doing, man? What are we doing? It's so frustrating because like he'll string together very nice drives and quarters where it's like, look, like everything's firing on all cylinders. Like these guys look like they're going to put up 40 today.
Yeah,
And then it's just,
and they don't score the rest of the game,
yep. And
and
like
they have
to be
3
fair, like
turnovers.
a lot of people like to use the tight ends as well. I especially running the football, I absolutely love it.
Can I get
Drew
some
Petzing is a
Tip
sicko.
Ryman as a halfback?
If Drew Petzing could use 4 tight ends on the field at the same time, he would. He absolutely would. Like, he is a legitimate sicko. Personally think he has room to grow as a play caller, and O-line didn't help out the scheme in regards to how they wanted to get MHA involved. My problem with Marvin Harrison Jr. is
Run
that they
straight.
tried to turn him into a 50-50 receiver when Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a 50-50 receiver.
I
I
think he
know
could
he's
be one day,
6'4". I
but
think he's 6'4". That's just not the kind of guy he is.
no, he's not Calvin Johnson.
No.
Like that's what when you see those guys that are 6'4" or taller, you want to put them in the box of 50-50 ball. And that's just not necessarily the case. Because at the same time, Des Bryant was the definition of a 50-50 ball. He was 6'1", maybe 6'2". Antonio Brown was a 50-50 ball. He was under 6 foot. Like, you can't, not so much in a post-up way, Donnie, but
Yeah.
ball thrown Antonio Brown's way, he was going to high point you and he was going to beat you. My point is, Marvin Harrison Jr. being 6'4" should not put him in that box of, oh, that means he's a post-up guy. Not necessarily. I do think he'll get to that point when he just starts dominating the catch point and the radius really just clicks in for him. But no, what he does well is similar to what Andre Johnson did well in his prime. He's quicker than you think, and he's going to kill you with his route running.
Yep.
And when the ball's in his
100%.
hands, you're going to struggle to stop him. He is a rack machine. That's what Andre Johnson did great. And that's
I
why
would
he's a
agree,
Hall of
but
Famer.
that's not how Drew Petzing dialed Marvin up last year.
I'm just saying
and
that's how you should use him.
100%.
Because, yeah,
And
they're not
I
using him
think
that way.
that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, is watching Marv get 4 or 5 downfield 50-50 shots in a contested catch opportunity. And people look at him and he's 6'4", and they're thinking, okay, well, you're 6'4", like you need to play like Tarzan instead of looking like Jane. Marv was not like the Hail Mary guy at Ohio State. He was not mossing kids left and right. That's just something he's never done. And it's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, if you're Drew Petzing and you watched his Ohio State tape, why on
I don't
earth
know how you
are
got
you
to that
trying to
conclusion.
force him to be something he's not?
Right. Well, and he wants him to be a vertical threat too. And he is fast.
He can be.
I think he's a lot faster than people think he is. He's not a go route guy.
Mm.
He's not a straight line runner like a Tyreek Hill is, a Deshaun Jackson is. That's not his game. Find a way for him to break free with his route running. And then, yeah, attack 25 yards down the field with just a really simple flag route or something. Like, there's ways to get him involved.
Contested catches are definitely not his strong suit, but I think he can and will be better at them. I'm expecting a big jump from Marv. I'm expecting a big jump from Marv from year 1 to year 2. I think the offseason training programs are going to do him very well, just in terms of adding to his frame. And dude, I think, man, that adjustment from your last year in college to your rookie season in the NFL is so difficult so tough. And like he didn't put up Justin Jefferson or like Jamar Chase numbers, but number one, he's not in an offense that's going to allow him to do that. Two, him and Kyler clearly were not on the same page. I would really like them to get more preseason reps heading into the regular season instead of both of them just chilling that 3-game stretch and then throwing them out there cold. Um, I think Marv is not going to have a bounce back year because he didn't have a bad year. And like to CBK's point again, we talked with Arizona's receivers coach at the end of last year, and we were like, hey, like, what do you want to see him improve in the offseason? And he was like, I want to see him get meaner at the top of routes. Marv's a really nice guy. I want to see him get mean. I want to see him throw defenders off of him. I want to see him kind of play with that little like tick in his,
Be your
in his
dad.
head. Right.
Play like your dad.
Yep.
Marv Sr. was not polite when he was on the field. A lot of people didn't like him on the field as a player. Take the other stuff out, right?
Yep.
As a player, you hated going up against Marv Sr. Hated it. You were going to be in for a full 60 minutes when you were playing him. Marv Jr. has that in him. You unlock that. He is more physically gifted than his father was. And his father was a Hall of Famer and one of the 10 best receivers of the 2000s and the 90s.
Xavier Weaver, vertical receiver.
I like him. I have liked him.
He didn't have a bad training camp last year. He did not.
I highlighted him in one of my articles as a potential player to win a specific role for the team. I am in on Xavier Weaver.
I'm not in, but I'm also not out.
Be hot or be cold, Donnie. Do not be lukewarm, for I shall spit you out.
I love Star Wars. All right, back to the schedule. Richie, just looking at it, man. Overall thoughts. I thought you put it best earlier in the show whenever you said like the Cardinals do have a favorable schedule, but just the way it's stacked.
They stacked it. Yep, that's horrible.
Yeah.
You're starting the year 2 of your first 3 games on the road, and you end the year 3 of your last 4 games on the road. That's not fair.
2 of your first 4 games are within the division too. One of them is on a short week as well.
Yep, and like we said, for the last 6 games, with 4 of those being on the road, 3 playoff teams, and the 4th team, the Cincinnati Bengals, was 9-8 last year. Yep. Like they did everything they could to put the Cardinals in such a bad situation. That's not fair. In fact, I think I need a whole article to voice how frustrated I am looking at this.
There you go.
I'm genuinely pissed off looking at that.
You really are, man.
That's not fair, Donnie.
Life's not fair, Richie.
And when they go 9-8, it's going to be all the sweeter.
It is. Do you think that'll be good enough for a postseason spot?
I mean, if you win the games you're supposed to win, yeah. Definitely. When we went through just for the which one should they be favored, we went 8-9. You're going to win some toss-ups.
Yeah. You're also going to lose some toss-ups. It happens.
Absolutely. They're going to lose a game they're not supposed to lose, and they're going to win a game they're not supposed to win. They're going to lose to the Panthers in week 2, and then they're going to take down the Bengals in week 17. It's going to be something like that where it's like, that doesn't make sense, but okay, whatever. Like, take it and run, I guess. It's just the nature of football. AGS, Donnie, any given Sunday. But
movie,
I don't appreciate the way that this stacked up. But again, when the Cardinals make the playoffs with a winning record, it's going to be that much sweeter.
Could not agree, man. Do you have any parting thoughts on the schedule or the Cardinals before you get out of here?
I like the Cardinals this year, man. And I really do think that they're going to build off of what they managed to do last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is the schedule that will test you. Because you could go into the last 4 weeks of the season and you got to win 2 or 3 of them to secure a playoff spot. And they would be working really hard over the first three quarters of the season to get to that point. I think there is a chance for them. But no matter where they're at, I think those last 4 games define your season.
That's fair. I feel like that's fair. I'm just taking one last look at the schedule, and there's really not like a 3-week stretch that I'm looking at where it's like, oh man, like sure glad like we kind of have these teams lined up. I mean, I'm looking at like Tennessee and Indianapolis back-to-back weeks. But that's week 5 and week 6, man. That's almost a third of the way through the season.
Right.
So who knows, man? But the cool thing about football is that it is not played on paper; it is played on the gridiron. But until then, all we can do is speculate.
And speculate, whatever that means.
We really should not record past like 3 p.m. This is crazy.
It's 8:51, and I am on fumes.
Dude, I'm going to bed as soon as it's over. All right, man. Let's get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another edition of the Cardinals on SI podcast. Drop your predictions for the schedule in the comments below. Playoffs, win-loss projections, whatever you and your little heart desires. We will have plenty more coverage at si.com/NFL/Cardinals. Follow Richie on Twitter at RichieBrads36. Follow me on Twitter at Donnie Druin. Go get some sleep, guys. See y'all.